Infinix, a brand many of you might know from the smartphone world, has decided to jump into a whole new ballgame gaming laptops. This is a pretty bold move, considering how crowded the market is with giants like Asus, Razer, and MSI. But hey, more competition is always good for us, the consumers, right? The Infinix GT Book is their first big swing, and they're aiming squarely at the budget-conscious gamer. They want to prove that you don't need to spend a fortune to get a machine that can handle the latest and greatest titles. It's a promise we've heard before, so let's see if they can actually deliver on it and shake things up a bit. The first thing you'll notice about the GT Book is that it doesn't scream, "I'm a gaming laptop," quite as loudly as some others. Instead of aggressive angles and dark brooding colors, Infinix went with something they call mecha design. It's a mix of silver and gray with some cool cyber text patterns, which gives it a unique, almost futuristic look without being over the top. It's a refreshing change of pace, and it means you could probably take this thing into a coffee shop or a classroom without getting too many weird stares. It's a design that says I'm here for fun, but I can also be serious when I need to be. One of the most impressive things here is the weight. Gaming laptops are notoriously heavy, absolute backbreakers that you dread carrying around. The GT Book, however, comes in at just under 2 kilograms, or about 4.4 pounds. That is surprisingly light for a machine with dedicated gaming hardware inside. This makes it a genuinely portable option, not just a desktop replacement that sits on your desk all day. You can actually toss this in your backpack and take it with you. Infinix clearly thought about the laptop part of gaming laptop, which is a detail that many other brands seem to forget in their quest for raw power. Of course, it wouldn't be a gaming product in 2025 without some RGB lighting, and the GT Book has a pretty cool implementation. They call it the Mecha Bar, and it's a customizable light strip on the back of the laptop. You can change the colors and effects to match your setup or your mood, which is always a fun touch. It's not as in-your-face as a fully lit-up keyboard on some rivals, but it's a tasteful accent that adds to the gaming vibe. It's a smart way to include a popular feature while still keeping the overall design relatively clean and sophisticated for a gaming machine. Now let's get to the juicy stuff. What's under the hood? The Infinix GT Book comes with a range of options, but the configurations are clearly chosen to maximize performance for the price. You can get it with Intel's 13th Gen Core processors going up to a Core i9. That's a serious amount of processing power for a laptop in this price bracket. This means it's not just for gaming. It can handle demanding tasks like video editing, streaming, and heavy multitasking without breaking a sweat. It's great to see a company not skimping on the CPU, as it's the heart of the entire system and affects everything you do. For graphics, which is what most gamers care about, you're looking at NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 40 series GPUs. The most common configuration you'll find is the RTX 4060, which is the absolute sweet spot for 1080p gaming right now. This card is more than capable of running modern AAA titles at high settings and delivering smooth frame rates. You'll be able to enjoy games like Cyberpunk 2077 or the latest Call of Duty with impressive visual quality. The fact that you can get this level of GPU power in a laptop that doesn't cost an arm and a leg is the GT Book's main selling point, and it's a very compelling one. To back up that CPU and GPU, you get fast LPDDR5X RAM and speedy NVMe SSD storage. The memory ensures that your games and applications load quickly and run smoothly, and having a fast SSD is a game changer. It drastically cuts down on loading screens, which is something every gamer can appreciate. You won't be stuck waiting for levels to load or for the operating system to boot up. These components work together to create a snappy, responsive experience, whether you're deep in a gaming session or just browsing the web and getting some work done on the side. It's a well-rounded package. So, how does this all translate to real-world use? In our testing, the GT Book is a fantastic performer for its price. It consistently pushes over 60 frames per second in most modern games at 1080p resolution with high settings enabled. For daily tasks, it's an absolute breeze. The powerful processor and fast RAM make everything feel incredibly fluid. The cooling system, which Infinix calls the Ice Storm 1.0, does a respectable job of keeping temperatures in check during intense gaming sessions. The fans can get a bit loud, which is common for gaming laptops, but they prevent the machine from thermal throttling and losing performance. A laptop is more than just its internal components. It's also about the parts you interact with every day. The GT Book features a 16-inch display, which is a great size for both gaming and productivity. It gives you plenty of screen real estate to immerse yourself in your games or to have multiple windows open side by side. The resolution is Full HD+, that's 1920 by 1200, which is sharp enough for a screen of this size. Critically for gaming, it boasts a 120Hz refresh rate. This makes motion look incredibly smooth, giving you a competitive edge in fast-paced games where every millisecond counts. It's a feature that was once reserved for high-end models. However, the display isn't perfect, and this is one area where you can see some of the cost-saving measures. While the colors are decent, covering 100% of the sRGB color gamut, the screen's brightness is just average. It's perfectly fine for indoor use, but if you're in a brightly lit room or near a sunny window, you might find yourself wishing it could get just a little bit brighter. Also, the response time isn't the absolute fastest on the market, so competitive esports pros might notice a tiny bit of ghosting, but for the vast majority of gamers, it will be more than adequate for an enjoyable experience. Moving on to the keyboard and trackpad, the experience is generally positive. The keyboard has a decent amount of travel and offers a satisfying typing feel. It also features customizable 4-zone RGB backlighting, allowing you to personalize your setup, which is a nice premium touch. The trackpad is large and responsive, making it easy to navigate windows when you don't have a mouse plugged in. It's not a glass trackpad, which you'd find on more expensive laptops, but the plastic surface is smooth and tracks accurately. For any real gaming, you'll be using a mouse anyway, but for general use, it's perfectly serviceable. When it comes to audio and video, the GT Book is a bit of a mixed bag. The speakers are tuned with DTS technology, and they can get reasonably loud, but they lack bass and can sound a bit tinny at higher volumes. They're fine for watching YouTube videos or for system sounds, but for an immersive gaming experience, you will absolutely want to plug in a good headset. The 1080p webcam is a pleasant surprise, offering a clear and sharp image that is much better than the 720p cameras found on many other laptops, even more expensive ones. It's great for video calls and even for some casual streaming. Battery life is often the Achilles heel of gaming laptops, and the Infinix GT Book is, unfortunately, no exception to this rule. It's equipped with a 70 watt-hour battery, which is a respectable size, but the powerful components inside are very thirsty. If you're doing light productivity tasks, like web browsing or writing documents, you might be able to squeeze out around 4 to 5 hours of use. However, the moment you fire up a game, you'll need to have the charger nearby. Expect the battery to last an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most, while gaming. This is typical for the category, but something to be aware of. Thankfully, the charging situation is quite good. The laptop comes with a 120-watt charging brick that can get the battery from empty to about 50% in just over half an hour. This is incredibly useful when you need a quick top-up before heading out. The charger itself isn't excessively large or heavy, so it doesn't completely negate the laptop's portability. Having fast charging helps to make up for the shorter battery life, ensuring you can get back into the action quickly. It's a practical feature that adds a lot of convenience to the day-to-day ownership of the machine, especially for a student or someone on the go. For connectivity, the GT Book offers a solid selection of ports that will cover most people's needs. You get a USB-C port, which also supports charging and display output, a couple of USB-A ports for your peripherals like a mouse and keyboard, a full-sized HDMI 2.1 port, and an SD card reader. It also has Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth for fast and reliable wireless connections. The one notable omission is a dedicated Ethernet port for a wired internet connection. While Wi-Fi is great, many gamers prefer the stability of a wired connection, so you'll need to use a USB-C dongle if that's a priority for you. So, what's the final verdict? The Infinix GT Book is a fantastic value proposition. It delivers a level of gaming performance, particularly with its RTX 4060 GPU that is usually found in much more expensive laptops. The design is stylish and refreshingly lightweight, and it has a great 120Hz display and a sharp webcam. Yes, there are compromises. The screen could be brighter, the speakers are weak, and the battery life while gaming is short. But for the price, these are trade-offs that many gamers will be more than willing to make. Infinix has successfully entered the market with a powerhouse on a budget.